It is 7 years today since the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in Parkland, Florida. A teenage gunman killed 17 people that Valentine's Day in 2018, one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history.
Tony Montalto lost his 14-year-old daughter, Gina Rose. He and other parents are with standwithparkland.org have been fighting to improve school safety ever since that tragic day. The Marjory Stoneman High School Public Safety Act is one result of their efforts. Reporter Devin Draveldes talked with Mr. Montalto about the ongoing work.
The Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act was very important. It was the first piece of school safety legislation that was passed here in Florida. Just 3 short weeks after the murder of my beautiful daughter, Gina, her schoolmates and her teachers. Important to remember is that it was a compromise bill, and it was passed with bipartisan voting through the Florida House and the Florida Senate. And then it was signed into law by Governor Rick Scott. Stand with Parkland's members were up there that day as he signed that important legislation. As we know, that bill covers the school safety triad, which Stand with Parkland uses. It provides dollars and requirements to secure the campus. It increased funding for mental health professionals in our state schools. And additionally, it passed firearms regulations, raising the age to purchase up to 21, mandating a 3-day waiting period, as well as instituting in extreme risk protection orders or red flag laws. Those are used in case someone is found to be a threat to themselves or others. The firearms are removed from them for up to a year. That portion of the law has been used over 15,000 times in the last 7 years. With a number that large, I'm sure we saved lives along the way.
And then what are some vital safety measures that you believe still need to be addressed by Florida lawmakers this year, as well as Congress?
Well, I'll start with Florida because 2 different things a little bit. Here in Florida, we've passed 7 school safety laws in the wake of the Stoneman Douglas tragedy. We've created a requirement for a district-wide mental health coordinator. We've created the Office of Safe Schools. So continuing along that process of what we've done, this year, we would like to see a requirement for all school doors to be ballistic-resistant in new buildings. We think that it's important that as our new buildings come online, we build them to protect students from the threats of the 21st century. Nobody's died in a school fire since the 1950s, but we still put in a ton of fire safety equipment into our buildings. So we just need to do that with our current new buildings that we're building. And then we're hopeful to come up with a grant program, one of which we're working through Congressman Fitzpatrick and Congressman Moskowitz in DC, to institute a bill that requires that in all schools federally. And it would also create a pool of money on which the states could draw to retrofit their schools. It's time to use the technology to protect our students and teachers at school.
Yes.
Additionally, federally, we have a new bill about to be reintroduced, or actually it's called the MSD Act, and it has that door portion that we just talked about. And additionally, it has something we've done here in Florida, which is the Parents Need to Know initiative, where now schools are required to notify parents of threats to the school, to school transportation or school-sponsored events. Sadly, that was not the case prior to the Marjory Stoneman Douglas shooting. Here in Florida, it's been law since 2021, and we're hoping to see that put in federally as well.
Yes. Once again, there is a move in the Florida legislature to roll back one of the major reforms, the one that bars anyone from under the age of 21 from purchasing a long gun. What is your reaction to this?
As I told the Florida House Committee that I testified in last year, Florida got it right following the Parkland tragedy. The changes we made to our firearms laws have kept our students and our teachers safe. As I mentioned, the red flag laws, which are used in all over the state, they're used in our most Republican counties and our most Democratic counties because they protect students, teachers, citizens, and law enforcement. These are vitally important tools that we have. So I think that the raising the age to 18 is something that should remain raising the age to 21 is something that should remain in place. I'm up in Tallahassee frequently the last 7 years, and I have yet to see the crowd of 18-year-olds demanding their rights to own a weapon. Additionally, one of the changes in the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act that was put in is federally now in states that do have the ability for an 18 to 21-year-old to purchase a weapon, there is an enhanced background check procedure. When I was last in Washington, D.C. at the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, they mentioned that over 1,000 purchases have been stopped because of these enhanced background checks, where we don't treat an 18-year-old as if they just appeared on the world that day, where we go back and investigate their school records, their mental health records. And I think everything we can do to curtail firearms falling into the hands of the wrong people is very important.
Yes. So then, what final thoughts do you share this day in memory of your daughter, Gina Rose, her classmates, her teachers, all of whom have inspired you guys to tirelessly push to make our schools safer?
Oh, the families of Stand with Parkland we came together under the worst of circumstances, but every time we make a policy change in the positive direction, every time we were able to change a law, when we were able to build the Federal Clearinghouse for School Safety Practices, access through schoolsafety.gov. All of these things extend Gina's legacy, the legacy of the other students and the teachers that were taken that day, as we all bring people together to work towards safer schools. We frequently say this is not a partisan issue. We need to come together on this. We were able to work with the Trump administration, number one. We worked with the Biden administration, and now we're planning to go up to DC and continue working with President Trump once again as we continue to drive pragmatic safety improvements to our schools. And we invite everybody to join us at standwithparkland.org.
Yes. Our hearts are heavy thinking about the victims, their families, and everyone affected by this tragedy. For those who were there, the memories of that day never fade.